just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's a fantastic motto, and one that I really, really wish more teachers would follow. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And what that asks is that you look at what it is that you're teaching and you understand the why. See, you're not doing it just because you can, because it's a cool flow, or because it seems like a neat thing. You understand the why. What is the reason in the body, in the mind, in the spirit, in the yoga, in the union, and the yoking, and the awakening, and all the things that the yoga is supposed to be, right? As an ancient technique that is designed to inner engineer our physical body to make it a more pleasant place for the soul to reside. I mean, essentially, that's what we're doing the yoga for, is to purify the physical body from emotional and physical toxins that we accumulate. We're also purifying the energetic body and the emotional body. And so all of these things are done through masterful techniques that these beautiful ancient rishis and gurus and yogis have given to us. They've given to us. And so a lot of these practices, we can just go back to the bare roots. But no, people, even now, a lot of teachers are saying we should, vinyasa. They're interpreting it as to place in a special way. It's not the way I would interpret it. And I'm not going to say one's wrong or right? But in my world, and maybe those of you who also have been practicing for a longer time, so you have a strong roots in that yoga, you would view it more as to place in a specific way. And it's when we're placing with care, when we're recognizing the placement of our feet, of our hands, when we're feeling that connection in each movement, in each breath, when we're aware of the placement of these parts, the connection to the earth, the highest point, and the way the breath is moving through, all of that, it's to place in a special way. Everything is beautiful, designed to heal the body, to make it again a pleasant place for the soul to reside. And then when the soul comes back into the body, the spirit, through the breath, and the mind is focused on the breath, which is happening in the body, now there's an integration of all the pieces of self. You're whole again. And when we become whole, that's where magic can happen. Even if it's just for a moment in Shavasana, that you feel, you touch something where it's like when all the pieces come in, then you can expand. Like, think about all of those movies for people that are kind of into that, where they're looking for that missing piece so that they can connect the thing together, and then suddenly the energy becomes the most powerful, right? That's your body. Your body on its own, it's cool, it's amazing, yeah. But when we can add in the mind into the body, okay, now we got some stuff going down. Now we're kind of a little magical. What? You're gonna bring the spirit into this mix? You're gonna have the mind, the body, and the spirit? That is when you become your own superhero. And that is what the yoga is intended for. Not to do some funky whatever. Not because the teacher has decided this pose is uncomfortable, so let's do this one instead. The things that I remember, the quotes that changed my life: you're supposed to hold the poses that you hate until you love them. Yep, that's right. And when you've been practicing for 30 years, then you have a whole room, dark room, filled with poses that you once hated and now you love. It's the same thing in life. We have so many things that we avoid, that are difficult, that are scary, that are hard. So it's easier to not do them. But the more that we make ourselves do them over and over, then it becomes part of our comfort zone. Suddenly we've expanded our consciousness, because now we just do this thing. It's just part of who we are. So the other quote is, the pose doesn't begin until you want out of it. That's the magic. It isn't holding the pose while it's easy. It is when the pose gets really, really difficult, when you get overwhelmed, when you want to run. Can I lean into that? Can I learn how to sit in it, soothe myself, breathe, anchor my mind into something that's happening in the moment, so I don't project into the future, or oh God, we're going to be here for 5 more minutes, there's no way I could do that. Instead of doing that, just looking at one spot and taking an inhale and just noticing that moment. Sometimes I'll have to block out any concept of ever being released from this pose. What if I just had to be here forever? I'm just going to be inhaling and exhaling right now without freedom in my mind at all, because the freedom might be the thing causing me the suffering. And then what happens is, all of the work that we do on the yoga mat, all of these things, right? The learning how to lean into a pose that's uncomfortable and finding comfort there, right? And noticing yourself, where you're resisting and where you're not, and all the things that you can learn about who you are in the arc of a class. What are the thoughts that you have? Do you get resistance? Do you get frustrated? Do you get irritated? Where's the irritation? All of that stuff, those are all things that then we can bring out into our lives as wisdom and knowledge about us. And as we change them on the mat, as we learn how to not let the mind take us over, not let the mind, go, oh, it's too hot in here, the teacher's annoying me, the music's too loud. When we can get those things and we feed that, and then we allow that to pull us out of our practice, it doesn't matter if any of those things are true. If those things are true, life is never going to deliver us a perfectly comfortable space. That is the magic of life. So can we lean into the discomfort? Yeah, and can we not create a story around it? This is just what we're dealing with now. And suddenly we learn to surrender, we learn acceptance, so many things that we can learn on the yoga mat. So, I started this message really with wanting this to be for yoga teachers, because again, I just wish that yoga teachers would really consider this. Just because you can does not mean that you should. And know the why. Know the why. If we step back instead of forward, if we do this instead of that, why are you doing that? Why? And when you know the why behind the pose, what the pose is designed to do in the body, in the mind, in the spirit, well, now you can give helpful cues to your students as to what their true goal is. If it might not be to get your forehead to your toes or whatnot, maybe it's to get your belly to your thigh, like in a pyramid pose, right? Not just tucking and rounding and getting the forehead down, but what if it's first getting the belly to the thigh? So again, we just want to know, why are we doing it? And then why would I want my belly to my thigh? Why does that matter? What is happening in the body? The triangle, the shape and the energy and the flow of energy in the body, the electrical system, the meridians. What is it that I'm doing here? And is it that I want to tilt my pelvis and then pull the energy down my spine? And if so, why? Well, because as I pull energy to the crown of my head, right, I'm bringing the energy through all of the chakra centers, like feeding, nourishing all of the energetic centers or the nerve bundles in the body, where then those nerve endings can again become like little tiny suns that expend this energy into those systems that they are supporting, energizing. That's why in a lot of yoga you're going to see a forward fold, half lift, forward fold, half lift, bringing the head up, bringing the head down. But see, the thing is, if you're bringing your head up and down, yes, there's some benefits there. You want to get the real benefits? Bend at your pelvis, right? Bend at your hip. Like if you can tilt your entire pelvis, then you can pull that. Anyways, I don't even know. I don't want to get into this because you're like, what? But the moral of the story is know your why. Know your why. And then you're teaching to that why. And practices could be more simple and have an incredible benefit if you know why you're doing it. And maybe it takes you 2 or 3 years teaching the most basic practice, but every time you teach a class and you take a class, you're unpacking it more, you're understanding it more, and that foundation then builds the rest of your teaching. Don't jump year 1 into teaching fancy flows that you don't even understand the basics of, right? And this is, I'm saying this with love, with so much love, because then when you become the teacher, you become the student, and then you're growing. And I want all the teachers of the world to grow, and I want everybody in yoga to grow, you know, to enjoy and learn. And this has gone on far too long. I just wanted to say something simple. All right. Takeaway is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I love you.